Several decades ago, people have argued that the future of work will change, and people will start losing their work, and then, of course, ICT and the rest of them will take place. People will be displaced from their work, and it is happening, and that is where we are now. So in terms of journalism, it has been, of course, forecasted far back that, of course, we are going to have the future here. So you are in the right domain, but we need to do it right within that particular domain, so that, of course, the professionalism that those who are in the mainstream possess can also manifest in what we do, because it has implication on your credibility and believability of what comes out of your own medium. So what are your strengths? If you know the strengths in online journalism, unlike what happened when there was a lockdown and people were being asked to either stay at home, paid half salaries, and all those ones. The number of pages of many newspapers shrunk. In fact, sometimes when I go to the newsstand and wanted to buy a Tribune, I will be asking and see, there is nothing, this one is as light as anything. So I was afraid if there was no news. So I was attaching weight to whatever I was buying before, and now the thing is very light and I'm still going to pay the same amount. But of course, most of us on this side did not have to bother about the space. You continue to publish. So that is a particular strength. It means we can accommodate more. You own the space, you determine what goes into the space, and so, but since you own the space, determine what goes into the space, we also need to know that there are certain things that, of course, condition our mind, influencing what we write, how we write it, and its implication on the society. And of course, global distribution. A punch on any keyword on your news takes you everywhere in the world. So if you have published something in Ibadan, cite the recent cases of social conflict and the rest of them. People in America, UK even got information earlier than us. How? Because of the digital influence. They don't have to wait. Immediacy and the rest of them, which we have hedge even before it goes through several gatekeepers in Tribune, in this and that one, is already broken on your own different platforms, and so you have that. Convergence is also of immense strength to online journalists, because of course you can combine everything. Now we have video, now we have text, we have graphics. You can do all sorts of things which the mainstream would not. They will still be shrinking time, shrinking space, and what they can accommodate. So, and it's of course highly interactive. You are online, you get feedback, you can also interact with your various audiences, and then of course you get that particular feedback also spurs you into doing more. There are some that will tell you that no, they feel something is wrong with this particular story. Sometimes I read it, they raise issue of balancing, raise issue of objectivity, ethical issues, and all those sorts, which of course gives us immediate feedback to what we do. Of course, immediacy, what is that thing that we attach to it? Breaking. Just in. Just in. Breaking, even if it has been broken. But at least the Yoruba says that then your body by non. So even if it's just getting into you and it's already stale because it has been released this morning and you are just waking up, it's just in your own on your own platform. But of course, storage and retrieval system with a properly designed website, you can always have it material stored. People now conduct researches more with online news items than having to go to Tribune, apply to this one. Most of the researches we now do, you go online because you also get the feedback to a particular story which can also be analyzed. Because we can also analyze issues of Shasha. If you follow the trend, you can begin to also see how people from diverse places also converge in that particular space to reenact the same sentiment and the rest of them that led into what is happening. So we can also learn. So we can stop and then retrieve. But of course, everything that has advantages will also come with its own disadvantages. Now, a major concern for some of us is issue of credibility. Now, of course, you know that at a particular point when Sahara reporters came, it was almost the one threatening mainstream traditional media. In fact, they will say, just go there. Sahara reporters was there. But today, what has happened? There are several unsubstantiated stories, sometimes outright falsehood. In fact, there was one recently published about how many houses burnt in Ibadan here. And some of us were saying we didn't even see the smoke. And of course, the problem with that is that because, and we also know the effect is that another person picked the story, thinking the source is credible enough. And that's the problem. So you think that particular source is credible. Where did you get it? You say channels. But channels also made mistake. So the issue of credibility is eating the media industry because of the rat race of trying to outdo one another, not doing, taking your time to do fact checking about certain news item, and then you want to eat town first. They will hear it from us first. But what are they hearing from you is eat the truth, so that when another thing is happening, people will refer others to you and say, is he on? Check that I trust them. They would always do the proper thing. So we have issue about that. And of course, we need to also work on our website design and all those ones. Of course, good versus bad. Of course, again, is the ethical issue about our news values. The kind of thing we write about, the newsworthiness of about what we dish out and we want people to read. Sometimes you go through it and then you marvel. Say, must you put this out? If you don't have content, keep quiet. It's not by force to put something out if it is not, because we still have that responsibility to ensure that, of course, maybe the traditional one, people place things. Is it Taiwo that gives us somebody against somebody?
Taiwo no.
He's the specialist in that one. Yes, he is specializing. Now, when you specialize, it's good. People can always come to you. That is what you are specializing on. But when you are doing that, of course, you also need to do it well. Also need to do it well because you are inviting people. I understand. But of course, as you are doing that, of course, you also need to do it well. So it takes us back to issue of credibility. Whatever we get from you, can we trust you with it? So now the problem is because we have reduced gatekeeping. We have a one-man media establishment improperly trained or not half-baked. Now sometimes it may not be baked. You just cook yourself and then think. Of course, I also went to poly. I went to IIT. I did this one, I did that one. If Taiwo can be doing this one, what's difficult in it? At least you have the smartphone. You can set up your own website and then they design the thing for you. You are the alpha and omega. So you tell me what goes there. But now, for every bad item posted there is a dent on the industry. Sometimes I get some news materials. I said, oh, I forward it to a particular platform. I say, oh, what is all this? How can this? Don't they have editor? Don't they have this one? So these are some of the things. But of course, you know that this would also be rearing their head. But we need to be humble. We need to be humble to learn. You'll see that for those of you who are on that AUT platform, we argue. Sometimes when you realize that tempers are high, you try to humorously, hilariously douse tension. They can abuse you, no problem. But just get the message across that, of course, this is what we are saying. This is not good enough. Can you improve it? So we are trying to do a sort of gatekeeping also there. If you have done it, and then the good thing is that when we say it, sometimes some people will say, okay, it's now corrected. Fantastic. So if we can reduce this speed of I want to break it, and then take our time, we'll see that we'll have less errors. We'll have less errors. It's bad enough to begin to read the error from the first paragraph. When I was in poly for mass comm, the first assignment they give also is to go and read the big newspaper, identify, is it 5 different errors? And now you cut, you paste. Now everyone becomes journalist and assumes I know. And of course, all of us, so we are still learning how to speak the language, write the language. So we need to be careful. Sometimes what you see or what you read from us, some of us who still write once in a while, will still give it to some other people to read. No one knows it all. So share with people. That is what I meant by being humble. That's what simple. You see some of these people, some of them I met them here, but we have become friends. Not that when we had issues we didn't try to iron it out. We did, but of course if it is for our progress, of course let us embrace that kind of correction. So we need that gatekeeping, and we can develop ourselves. There are also online trainings that you can also undergo about doing online journalism, the ethics of doing it, and all those. They are online too, they are free. You are also online. So please just spare time to see some of those things that they are doing that you are also not doing. Of course, opinion based. Sometimes our reports are, of course, clear indication. And I tell people, when I see people in newsstands and around the UI, I say, me, I know. Once I pick newspaper, bam, and I read it, I say, I will know the angle that this person is speaking from. They say, yeah, I say, because I've been in the industry for some decades, so I know where this person is coming from. But what we were taught is that, of course, as you have picked that, also try to balance the thing. But what is more prevalent in this online wave is that we report one side, forget the other side. And in fact, we are even happy to even argue with that, hey, what should I do? When you will not respond because you didn't call the person, but you just had your own perception, this person will not pick it, so let me go. Don't mystify yourself so that you will not be demystified. Then it becomes manipulative because when people begin to when you want to shape people with your write-up and then take them away from the truth, you want to remold them. Of course, we teach sociology of mass communication and public opinion, and we know the manipulative power of framing a particular story, couching a particular headline in a particular way. I think we had an argument over one headline on the NUJ platform sometimes last week. So unbridled sensationalism, of course, I need not stress that because it is, we see it. It is not what we are doing here alone. No. Even the Western world, those ones that will come here and train us, they are also doing it. So let us learn the good parts and not, of course, the bad part. Because you are the one building your own brand. If you are building your own brand, let them know you with quality. Or substantiated opinions. You ask people, rumors and credibility. Now, the issue about rumor is that some of these conflicts were triggered by rumors and not confirmed reports. I did a research on this farmer header conflict in Nasarawa, and one of the factors that led to killing of people was rumor that I just left Ilaji, they have killed 10 Yoruba. Nothing happened. So the Yoruba on the other side will start killing the Hausa. Where did you see how it's online now and forward it? You are seated in your house. Breaker of news. But you have created conflict and it may consume all of us. So that is where this issue of rumors, handles, credibility. Once they pick it from you first time, and I've seen something like that even 3 times on a particular platform, I said, I've lost interest in this one. This one will not learn. I just refocus to those ones that I know have the substance and are doing it the right way. So please, the issue of rumors. Now, lacking restraint also is also a major problem that we have. Restraints in terms of in those active days, people like that will know when they say somebody is a satanic writer. And of course, it's something that people pride themselves as satanic. So if you are satanic, you know you will destroy a kingdom with your writer. Now, if you are satanic on the part of truth, it's better. But if you are satanic on the part of evil, because being satanic can be just a social construction. You can be doing the right thing and people think you are not always going to yield to manipulative tools of the state or their interests and then call you all sorts of negative names. So we need to, of course, shun this unbridled restraint of just doing everything without and then throwing caution into the wind. Now, what is the starting point? How does this? Why war journalism? Journalists, of course, all of us, editors, and the rest of us, of course, we rationalize what to choose to write about. I will do sexual appeal. What was that? Those magazines, Int, Arts, and all those things of those days.
Yes.
Int, Arts of those days. And then, of course, they have their own target audience. So people will just wait for the thing to come. He has taken that off because those ones are no longer, they can't sustain doing the ad copy. It's online now. Now, can you learn anything from the style of Int and Arts? Apart from just focusing on celebrity, see how Remy, Tog, what are the two video. Can you also go for a little further and narrate life stories that people would want to follow? Part 1, part 2. People where they can Int Art can do 3 editions, and you say, you don't want to miss that one. You will be looking for that one. I recall those things. So we choose what we want to write about and how to write them. That's why the angle at which we pick our stories differ. So if they put the thing and say, okay, yeah, all of you write your lead from this, we will not pick it from the same angle, and a lot of factors influence how that happens. So what is written and how it is presented shapes and forms, of course, reaction of the public to what is published. So when you are framing and when we are doing most of these things, you are not doing it for your own alone. You are also doing it trying to shape and mold public opinion towards that particular area, and you want them to believe. So as we are doing that, we should also have in mind that we are moving towards peace or we are encouraging conflict. And I'll share some other stories as well. But of course, it did not start here. Western mainstream media in the past 100 years have focused on war reporting, characterized by violence and sensationalism. You know the enormous resources that Adhere, CNN, and the rest of them used only focusing on this Gaddafi fall. Now they focus more here because when we elevate issue of conflict and war, people profit. That is a political economy in everything. So when you throw it up, it's good. It's a good market for people. So they need you to continue that particular way. People will sell weapons and people will make money. Several people will die, but people will smile. So we need to be conscious of that. So if issue of sensationalism, so what are those features? So you begin to look at what you are doing and how what you have written may have escalated the conflict in Ibarapa. It may have caused to ally in Shasha. It may have caused strained relationship between you and perhaps your in-laws who may have soft spots for the other side, and you want them to see it your own way without doing some things. So war journalism has these features. It's war violence oriented. That is what is interested in. It's propaganda. It's elite oriented, and of course victory oriented. We'll break it down. Now when it is war oriented, what does it do? It demonizes enemies. Begin to see it within the context of what you have done or what you are thinking of doing. It demonizes enemies. So we'll create that enemy. This person wants shalawa. And by doing that, of course, we know that when you create outsiders of a particular person, they also don't see themselves as part of you and also need to fight back. The implication of it is that you and I will also not have that peace of mind to continue to write. And I will do a comparative analysis of how we reported Ibarapa, Igongon stories and how we reported Shasha stories. For those of you who were active in Igongon, Ibarapa stories, you see the rate at which people were writing and then the headline before it happens. Because of the proximity, your distance from the scene of the conflict did not make you realize the costly implication of writing or framing stories in that particular way. Now, when it came to Ibadan, very close to you, some of us were in that community. You now started seeing the implication of being cautious, not putting yourself in harm's way. And that was why the one in Shasha was different from the one in Igaga. So when you know that you are likely to become victim, you think twice. When all of us did not sleep and were saying, ask our people if they are safe there, but because you were not in Igaga, Ayeke and the rest of them, you just we all sat here. Eat. Oh, it's D. Zerigi is that. But how many of us even wrote anything about Zerigi Shasha? Because with the proximity to the scene and its implication even on our life chances, can we survive it if it, of course, explodes beyond that particular kind of escalation? So, of course, it focuses on violence. Violence sells. People sell weapons, people make money. With what happened in Shasha, Oyo State governor will know how much he has paid to security agents to stay in that particular location, keep the peace and all those. So they also need us to continue to make the situation that way. While they will be saying journalists should de-escalate the thing, reframe the thing, don't ethnicize it and the rest of them, it doesn't pay them that it goes down. But how much are you going to make from that conflict insensitive reporting? You won't rest. That is your own gain. You won't rest. And you will be nursing the fear. My wife has gone towards that side. This one said the wife cannot come home. My husband is at home and my kids. So we begin to feel the effect of that is what I call unintended consequences. So you see the other person has the problem. That is the lens of war reporting. The other side is the problem, not us. And you see, look at the stories that we have written about the conflict. How much blame have we apportioned to insiders who work with kidnappers here, traditional rulers who sell lands, who compromise security of their communities? How many of us have said they should depose those chiefs who are now trying to find their voice and play on what is now going on? Some of them are responsible for the position that we have. But of course, we have made the other as the problem. And that is what they are challenging. That we are not the problem, they are also the problem. So, the war journalist is reactive, waits for violence to occur before reporting. We don't do background, maybe we don't have the resources to go as far as Igaga. Even when they said they will carry, or some of us were withdrawing. Yeah, okay, yeah, let us go with Amotepu. They were withdrawing. Yet, we were reporting from afar using your drone. You were using your drone in the comfort of your sitting room, and your drone will go to Yongayete and the rest of them, and then how you report it as fact. And then they ask you, were you there? Did you see the day? I have a source in the community. I have my brother is there. He don't. And we may rely on the wrong person who also has interest. We'll get to how biases and all those ones will affect that. So the focus is on two parties, enemies at war. So it is us versus them. It is us versus them. So that is what we are doing. Begin to look at your stories in the last 1 month. Now it is also victory oriented. We can't afford them. It's our land. We cannot yield the thing. Let them live. So when Seriki ran away, it's a victory. That is only condition when we feel yes, it cannot happen in their own land. So it is victory oriented. So it equates peace with victory. So unless there is that victory, we won't cease. So when that one is settled, we'll move elsewhere and then continue. And that is the backlash of what happened in Shasha. That was just a trigger. It's just transferred that you come here again. It could not. Now people eat with charm in Bere anyhow. They will take the person to this place and then the person is back to life and then life goes on. But of course, the tension that has been building as want to see and then all of us, the thing grew out of proportion and all of us are now buying tomato and rondo for what we cost, and now everything is expensive. So of course it conceals other peace initiative. How much have we also devoted to writing about the efforts that they are making to resolve the conflict? We are not really interested in that one because people generally do not even read something that is peaceful. It is only the one that has how many times have you seen all these broadcast media who now do this Bangkok? How many times have you seen any development story being read? Crime, oddities, those are the things that, and they are making money from it. Because if you place adverts at those times, you pay more. That is what people want to hear. That is what we are doing. And we are the victims of what we are causing. So, the focus on treaty, leave a finished war, and then of course we return to it. So we won't allow them today. They cheated us yesterday, and so we'll take our own pound of flesh. So it doesn't end. It doesn't end. And because we are from the southern parts, our position within the society conditions how we approach each of these stories. Political position, economic position, our religious inclination, and then situation within the polity also affects us. Leave aside the influence of the ownership of the media, which also a party there. If you take your time and then let's quickly consider the propaganda of one. Of course, it exposes their own truths and help our own cover our own hope. We expose their own, cover our own. If we are covering our own, we are not going to find the solution. Because the man that sold land to those people who are compromising the security will still continue to sell. Because we are not talking about those ones. And I think we should play them up too. The government should also need to do something about them, those who are also compromising our own security too. Now focus on our suffering, able-bodied elites being mouthpiece. You know that weak people suffer in most of these conflicts. But it is the elite that will now come out to take the glory. But they have run away. Those are the ones who will now go and start interviewing. What do you see to this? The senator that did not visit the location, the speaker that did not speak for weeks, is the person you will now privilege his voice over those that are suffering.
Christ.
So they now take the glory of that particular situation.
Christ.
So we are the one causing most of these issues. So of course they continue. Now you now see them. It's now breed brats between them. This governor will not talk. The other one will not talk. They are now doing exchanges. They will come back again and then they harmonize their differences. The victim will still be the poor masses in those rural communities. Now we focus on the elite peacemaker. So the governor of Abala Mohammed will say his own today. His Excellency will say his own tomorrow. The other person will do this one tomorrow. So if we look at this chart, war journalism against peace journalism. While war journalism is interested in war violence, the other one is on peace and conflict, because consensus and conflict is what makes society move forward. We cannot do without conflict, but how we manage, how we report it will determine the direction of progress of an individual, not only that of the society. And then of course the other one focuses on propaganda, while the other one is interested in truth, because truth of course is also a way to solving a major problem. By the time we begin to pile up lies, we are also covering the truth. Now the third one is, it focuses on the elites. The other one is on the grassroots and interested in the people who are the direct victims of this conflict that we are reporting. Not those ones in Agodi government house, not those governors that can quickly get to the southwest from north, and then they will go into their they say closed door and then come out and then tell us another thing, which is different from the reality on the ground. Can't we privilege the voices of those people in those communities? And then the fourth one there is, one is interested in victory and defeat. The other one is interested in solution. You will see it, that is it. What we report is about victory and defeat. How many outside did they kill? Ṣọ́ọ̀pù mélòó ni wọ́n jó? Wọ́n ti jó gbogbo ṣọ́ọ̀pù kìlọ̀, wọ́n ti lé wọn lọ. That is the perspective, and that is the one that is, by the time you report 10 Hausa so killed, those ones will be looking for where to get to retaliate. They will look for those ones that do not even know anything, and they are going their own jeje and slaughter them. We will now write it again. Hausa slaughters. You say, they are not human. These people, they are barbaric. All those ones will begin to speak grammar, and we will begin to see trans-territorial backlashes of these conflicts. And then we can't rest again. People in the north will start calling you. You will be calling them. If you have somebody in Kano, if anything happens, you call them. Say, Wapao. And of course, there they will be the minority. We are in the majority now, so we are doing Yanga. So those over there are telling us that you people should manage this thing, because they know to run down here is not easy. Some of you who have lived in the north know. So peace journalism is interested in truth, people oriented and solution oriented. Now when we focus more on the peace aspects, we give voice to many parties to the conflict. It doesn't mean you can still we align stories. We can put one on top. We know you have one, you give one 3 paragraph, you give one paragraph. You give another one paragraph. Somebody who is schooled in journalism will know where prominence is. But at least they will not say they are not mentioned. So his effort is always good to be made to give voice to parties involved. So humanize both sides. We can change the world, the way we frame most of these things. Slaughter, as if we are not also human. If we slaughter cow, we know how it is, even though we eat cow eventually. But some of us cannot stand where they are killing the thing, because the process leading to the killing of the cow is terrible. If you have been present at a party or when that thing is done, you see the pain that the meat that I will eventually eat will go through. Injuries upon injuries, beating upon beating, and then eventually you now begin to fight over the meat. You didn't give me to the other person got to. So it focuses on, we should focus more on the invisible effects of war and violence. You know that what we're concerned with was the issue of this person burning one shop, that person killed one Yoruba. There are now invisible effects of that particular conflict. There is movement from that community elsewhere. What it means is that if you say somebody is dangerous in town and the person moves to far remote areas, it means that it's going to be more deadly. Now, food coming from that particular location is, of course, scarce, and then we are buying it at exorbitant prices. Now, how much have we also reported something about this after months of the conflict? Apart from just focusing on shop has been burnt, now some people have said they will rebuild the market. No one. What policy recommendation can you interview them, you go to the community, you live in the community. Are you also going to join the voice saying they should relocate the market? Are you also going to talk about issue of governance, about the market, so that you are bringing solutions rather than doing tie back about how the conflict started? And we do tie back almost in second paragraph. So if we do the tie back, people remember again and then it refreshes the wound and then they want to continue. Now, explores the peace and conflict perspective, explores the historical, cultural context and do conflict analysis. How much have we done? We don't even know that history of Shasha. We don't even know. We are only interested in the frame. What is out there? We don't want to do the wala. But if we dig deeper, we can see where these errors started from. And if we do that, you would have helped some of these lazy people in government who cannot do the research. That this is how the things started. This location is this. That is what happens. And then we can begin to focus on that particular aspect and help the government to, of course, channel their intervention. So it is truth oriented. Uncover all cover-ups. All of us, the Seriki, the Balemi, the market person, who again have also been fingered there. All of them are still in their army over there. So all of them are waiting every time for us to interview them. But also they are also called people. So are we also holding them responsible? And then what are we also going to do? Because they are still going to sell the land. So we'll wait till another round and then we'll be looking for people that will say all of us. So expose all truths, all untruths on all sides. All of us are hiding something. All of us are hiding something, and we are hiding it because of the interest we have in every story. So position the other side, and we are the saints. So, but if we are honest enough with ourselves, we will know that this is where we are wrong, and we can, along the line, of course, it's hard to say it, but try as much as possible to be able to say it, and that is when they say they speak truth, of course, to power. It's not easy. People oriented, focus on the sufferings on both sides. Those that have been displaced, those that have lost their livelihood, how are they going to cope? And that's why I stress in what I write that you need to compensate victims. There can't be peace if I still feel victimized and you say, keep your mouth shut now, let us embrace peace. No, it can't come that way. So we need to play aspect of justice up in what we are reporting. That, oh, how much has been done? In national anthem, they say peace and justice shall reign. They said, no, let's remove shall. Peace reign. As if the shall is the one stopping peace to reign. It's because of the absence of justice. It's because I will slap him and you say you should not slap his soul. But he should embrace me, we are brothers. Justice must be served. So we need to begin to do that. Of course, give names to all evildoers. Don't cover up any evildoer. And focus on grassroots peace. Solution oriented. We must highlight peace initiatives. Now, what local informal mechanisms are now being used to resolve most of these conflicts in these indigenous communities. Of course, my analytic mind will say, why is conflict more prevalent in low socio-economic class neighborhoods? Why is it going to happen there and it's also going to happen at that particular location? That kind of conflict. If it happens in Bere, it is we. So the parents will be shouting, government, and then I ask the question, why not say chase them away? Because they are shorn of the soil. So we can tell them that, oh, you, Mokaji, you are from this family. There is an approach they call shaming. Can we, for those who are conversant with the location, this is the area where this thing is happening. This is the family compound that is close to the location. Can we use the proximity and mention the name of those that are responsible for those areas, so that they are responsible? And so we, of course, are also going to initiate peace. So we will focus on cultural and peaceful society, and then, of course, reconstruction and reconciliation, which is now ongoing. They are going to rebuild Chasha Market. The northern governors came. The one from Kano isolated his own people, gave them money. What has your own done to your own people? So, differentiated citizenships is also the way you begin to see allegiance gravitate towards a particular location. If someone came all the way from that part and they quickly identified with their own people, why is it not happening here? Why are you not identifying with your people and then also taking them out of that vulnerable condition that they have slumped into? It is our duty to call the attention of those responsible to do it, not to always project what they want you to say. That is where we are not doing it right. So, as we wind down, from war to peace journalism, if you are writing, because of the implication, of course, now I'm afraid to even drive down across Southwest. You have to time when you want to move. You don't even know those ones that are also timing, the timing that you are also timing. So all of you are timing yourself. Now, if anyone is picked, what happens? Everyone for himself, God for us all. Government will not pay the ransom. It's the family, all of us that will be running everywhere will pay. So, what are we going to tell government? To sit tight or to say you are people's governor? Is that what will be playing up? So we need to, that's the social responsibility angle to it. We also need to be conflict sensitive in everything we write. As online journalists, of course, we need to go beyond that, because yes, people are likely to read us first. But when we build that particular credibility about issue of accuracy, issue of fairness, and essential feature of balance of all parties in the story, and then there is this danger of treating some people as passive victims. Sometimes you can say women are vulnerable, as if they are passive. Some of us who have conducted researches even in crime knows that women are active in facilitating crime. They are not passive. You only see them. They are carriers of weapons, they are informants and all those things. So what are we also doing to most of these groups that are there, by people and all those things? So can we continue to encourage the government to start the what is that thing, Remy, that the governor said they want to do? Is it registration or something?
Foreigners.
Or something like that. What are we doing in that particular? So we must not all the time treat people as passive victims, as if they are not also active and they don't have agency. So we need to empower marginalized voices, not empower already empowered voices. Voices of speaker who is not in that location. Voices of one senator who never visited the place. Voices of one party man, chieftain, party chieftain, PDP chieftain, I chief this one. Of course, we know the political economy, but of course, the marginalized voices are those ones who bear the brunt. If we privilege those influential voices, they would silence those people, and they will not be quiet. They are going to fight back on the society, and all of us will be victims by that time. Those ones that we are saying they don't even have any stake here, like High Chief Okofu, who has his business empire here. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we write, the essence of what I've been saying since is we need to be more circumspect. We need to, of course, do more diligence about what we practice as journalists. The ethics is important. The peace of the society is our peace. If we escalate conflict, we won't survive it ourselves. If you are able to survive it, your relatives may not. And note one thing, even in the interventionist, you know, you change the name of Igbo to activist. Yeah. The same you who framed him there assassin, political hoodlum, land grabber and everything, suddenly you made him So see the way you create people. You may, beyond now, you may Google and get something on framing. Framing theory is in the media for media. How such framing has so much implication on what we do. So please, before we write from now on, listen and observe. And when you are listening, it means you are listening to the grassroots, where the thing is happening. Not just because you feel this person is my friend, but there may be interest. And the interest will mislead us. Most of the time, it misleads us. We have to be aware of the hidden agenda and prejudice of who is giving us the story. My source. And my source is also interested in a particular direction.
Gatekeepers.
So my source is always interested in us placing, elevating that source and then downplaying others. So we need to do more. And then paint a bigger picture without blame or contextualize. In other words, let us contextualize our things properly. How it happens. Of course, we started with the rumor. I think the report of Wale today now spoke with the woman, the pregnant woman, about what actually happened. Because no one is even talking about the family of the man who died, Kobla. That is the first victim. Nobody is even talking about it. Nobody is talking whether he has wife. Nobody is saying he has kids. So we have the implication, ladies and gentlemen, is that the kids will not be friendly with anybody from that side, whether you like it or not, except you treat them. And we don't even do victim counseling, we don't do all those ones here. No therapy, no anything. Everybody continue. Government goes back, we clap and everything. But it is our duty, of course, to paint that bigger picture. That if this particular thing happens and there are kids there, we are socializing them to violence. We are saying this is the way of life. So kids who are constantly exposed to violence are going to behave violently. There is no two-way about it. That is why they tell us, all of us, majority of us did mass comm, so there is no need for us talking about mass comm theory. When you are constantly exposed to boxing, when you are moving with your friend, you will be jabbing, and you won't know, because it's becoming part of you, and that is what you are exposed to it. So before anybody would say anything, you say you see, that is what we are constantly exposed to. So in concluding, let us open up healthy solutions. As online journalists, apart from holding forth for the vulnerable, don't also forget that we are also part of the society. And everything we are doing would fall back on us, directly or indirectly. Directly or indirectly. And let it not be. You know, we are many now. Online journalists, because of the democratization of the media space. So we are many. But what will make you distinctive from others? Am I just going to be like the other person? Am I just going to be the one that people will say, copy, error, no fact, no substance, no anything? So we need to up our game. Read more, and we need to read more. If you know you are not good at something, you try and invest in that thing.
Seek knowledge.
Seek more. I'm learning every day. I've learned, and I'm still going to learn as I'm going back to Oyo State. So please, ladies and gentlemen, that is the I think long and short of